Hi, I'm going to make a video on how to connect the RMC-2 to PTC-150 cameras and PTR-10s, as these two models have the exact same process. So I wanted to show the process of how to connect the 150s PTR-10 with the RMC-2 as the RMC-2 as the DHCP client. The manual states with the DHCP client, that means it can connect to your router and your network, and it communicates via DHCP that way. Okay, again, this is DHCP client, where the RMC-2 is just going to connect to your router. For me, I have a switch, but it's connected to the router, to your router, and the router is going to assign the RMC-2 and the units IPs. Okay, again, this is for DHCP client. So that's what the process I'm going to show you. I have the PTR-10s here. They PTR-10 and then the PTC-150, okay? They are on the latest firmware from what's the website currently as of May 2025. For the 150s, this is the firmware version you want. And for the PTR-10, this is the firmware version you want. Okay. I'm going to exit the menus just so we can make sure the menu does not affect. Okay, all of them are set. So as of right now, I have a 150T. Okay, the 150T, you will need a receiver to connect to the network. Okay, the 150T has the HD-base-T connecting to your receiver via HD-base-T. On that receiver will be a DVIP port, as you can see right there, DVIP port that is connected to your switch/router. Okay, that is for the 150Ts. Underneath the camera, you will need to make sure dip switch 4 is up. You want to make sure 1 and 4 is up. As you can see here, it's a little blurry, it's not trying to focus. 1 and 4 is up, and that is the case for each camera and PTR-10. On the side, you want to make sure 1 and 4 is up. Okay, 4 is activating the DVIP communication on each camera. Same goes for the 150. Just want to make sure 1 and 4 is up underneath the camera, and then 1 and 4 is up on the PTR-10. So all of these are connected to the DVIP on the router and should be communicating, and you can get the IPs of the cameras. Again, the only difference is the 150T. You will need a receiver, and then that receiver connected to the DVIP port. Okay, that's for the 150Ts only, and for the PTR-10Ts as well. For this video, I do not have a PTR-10T, but same concept as a 150T. You will need a receiver if you have the T version. Okay, so moving on from there, at this point, what you want to do is look up the IPs of these cameras and make sure they're on the latest, or make sure they're set to the same IP as your network. Okay, for this, you can do two things. One, you can either put it into a static IP, or two, put it to DHCP mode. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that next. For now, you will need the DVIP config tool from Datavideo. I'm going to go to the website for Datavideo. Just go to the home page. For the sake of the cameras, we'll go from here. You have the search bar. If you have it minimized, it'll look like this. You click on those three and the search bar is there. For the sake of the video, I will have it on full screen. Look up PTC-150 and then press enter. From there, you will scroll down. The 150s are older cameras, so they're considered legacy now. Click on the PTC-150. Once you're on the product page, go to downloads. And from here, it's under software, and it's the DVIP network config, okay? You're gonna click on that. It's going to download. Once it downloads, go into the folder, show in folder, which is your download section. You're going to extract that zip folder. And then you're going to extract the second one that opens up. And then on the third one, you go ahead and run this application to install. More info, run anyway. Next, for me, it's repair. If it's new for you, not on your computer, it's gonna have install, or it should just install by itself, okay? But for me, since I already have it, I'm just gonna click repair. For you, it should just be a new install. Press yes. Finish. Okay, from there, it is installed. All you have to do now, it's go in your search bar, type out DVIP. Once you type out DVIP, the app will look like this. All you have to do is run open. Okay, as you can see, I have 3 products on my DVIP tool. This is not my network's IP, so I have to put these in the correct IP. For the sake of this video, I'm just going to do DHCP for all. If the DHCP does not work, then at that point I will do static, because sometimes with networking, if you try to put it in DHCP, it won't take it until you have to put static. It's just the way networking is with these cameras sometimes. But for now, I'm going to try DHCP, and then we'll go from there, okay? So the first camera is on a 10.100. As you can see, the MAC address are all there as well. Do note the MAC addresses will be underneath the camera. You will need to boot cycle each camera after each process. I would say do it one at a time, and then that way do it one at a time, okay? So let's start with the first one. Click on the first camera. See, as right now, currently it is on DHCP server because they use fixed IP as not. So what I'm gonna do is click fixed IP, and then I'm gonna hit save. It will tell you to reboot the camera. Look for the MAC address of your camera, 21A1, the last 4. Okay, the 21A1 is my PTR-10. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off. And then turn it back on. And I'm going to exit. Hit magnifying. And right now it's only showing 2 because I just boot cycled the PTR-10. I'm going to wait for it to come back on. So essentially what I'm doing is putting it to a static IP. Then I'm going to take off static again and put it to DHCP. And at that point, it should hopefully pick up an IP from my network. My network is a 172, so I want this PTR-10 to show a 172 IP. So let's go ahead and hit the magnifying glass now. Okay, it's still booting up. Okay, now it's showing here. So it's still in the 10.100 because that's what we left it at, 21A1. Clicking on it again. I'm going to uncheck, save now. Unchecking it and pressing save is putting it to DHCP mode. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn off the unit. Turn it back on. At this point, I'm hoping that the DHCP takes. If the DHCP does not take, then at that point, I'm going to do a static IP, okay? Okay, clear, magnifying glass again. The PTR-10 is still not showing up. Clear again. Okay, and there you go. You could see that it did change to the 172, okay? So it's on a 172, 16.2.30. So for the sake of the PTR-10, it's set to DHCP. Most likely we'll have to do the same thing for the 150s as well, okay? So let's go to the next camera, which is set to a 10.100. 1A04 is the last for Mac. Let's see if we can find 10A4, which is this camera here. It's the non-T version. This is just a regular 150. So, click on it again. Okay, so it's still on DHCP, so I'm going to do fixed, save. Power is cycled unit, unplug power, and then plug it back in. And then we'll wait for it to boot up and check the MAC address. Check the IP again. It is boot processing right now, doing its cycle. Okay, let's see if that camera is showing up. The MAC address, again, is 1A04 for my reference. So again, here you go. It's set to a fixed. It's showing still A1, A04. So gonna turn it off again, then press save. Okay, now I can turn off the unit. Power it back on. I'm hoping it will revert to a DHCP IP as like the PTR-10. So I'm gonna let it boot cycle again. Again, this is a long process for the RMC2, just because you need all the cameras to be in the same IP range and just to make sure they're in the same network. So again, this is why I'm just doing DHCP, just to make sure the cameras get the correct IPs. Tedious in the long run, but it will connect after that. Okay, it should be up at this point. Clear, and then find. Great. So now we have 172.162.30, 172.162.36. So the first 30 is the PTR-10. The second unit on 36 is the 150 regular. Now we're going to do the 150T, which is the last IP we have here. Same process as we're doing. Again, if you want to bypass all this, you could set your own static IP. You could put the IP. If you're going to do static IP, just make sure the mask gateway is set correctly, okay? And then the DNS, I would use these DNS, primary DNS of 8.8.8.8, and then 8.8.4.4. But the gateway and the mask and the IP, make sure you're doing that correctly if you're doing static IP, okay? Oh, after boot process, right? So for this one, since it's the T version, all we have to do is unplug the HD base T and then plug it back in. Again, the DVI-P is coming from the HBT 11, okay? For me, it's 11, and whatever receiver you have, it needs to have a DVI-P port for it to work. Processing up. Mind the mess. It's the best I have for indoors. Okay, gonna go ahead, clear again. So we want that last IP to change to the 172 as well, okay? Clear. As you can see, the last one is up. So let's go ahead and click on it one more time. Turn off use fixed IP, hit save. Then it tells us power cycle. Let's go ahead and unplug HD base T and plug it back in. Okay, unit is powering back on. Let it finish its boot cycle. I'll wait until it says enter manual mode. Okay, into manual mode. Go ahead and clear, and then scan one more time. And there we go. We have all 3 cameras on the same IP range set to DHCP, okay? Again, if you want to bypass this, you would click on used a fixed IP, type out your desired IP, but please make sure the mask, gateway, primary DNS, and secondary DNS is set correctly, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and just unclick that and just leave it alone. So all 3 cameras are on the same IP range and they're all set to DHCP, okay? They're good to go. Now, next we want to introduce the RMC-2, okay? So for the RMC-2, I have PoE switch, so I'm gonna connect it with 1 cable. If you do not have a PoE switch and you're using USB-C to power, have your DVIP port already connected, and you're going to connect the USB-C from your laptop or computer to plug it in, and it should power on the unit, okay? So for me, I'm just going to do 1 cable. If you do not have a PoE switch, then have your DVIP already connected to your router, and then use the power cable to power off and power on the unit, okay? So I'm going to just make sure this RMC-2 is found on our network as well. So with this, I'm gonna hit preset 1 and 4. This is to make sure the RMC-2 could be found on your network without having to do anything else either. So I'm gonna connect my PoE. Their light turns on, let it do its cycle. All 4 are on. Now I could scan and the RMC-2 should find. Okay, great. RMC-2 is there, 172.62.20. From there, I'm gonna click on it just to see. Okay, so this one is on a fixed IP, but that's fine. It's on our same network. If yours is not and it's not showing the same IP, I will do the process I did as the 150s. If that process doesn't help, then putting the RMC-2 in a static IP will work. But for the most part, it's showing 172.162.220, okay? Actually, I jumped ahead a little bit. What we want to do is, it's found, you can find the IP, okay? What you want to do next is confirm if this is set to DHCP server or DHCP client, okay? Again, we're doing client, which means it's going to connect to your router and the router is going to assign it an IP. That's what that means, okay? So that's what this video is for, is DHCP client. So what you're going to do to confirm that your unit is on DHCP client, unplug power. You're going to hold cam 3 and slow, okay? What should happen is fast should either be turned on, red, or not. If fast is turned on, then that means it's on DHCP server. You don't want that, okay? So if fast is on, then you have to do the unplug power and do the process again. Let me show you what that would look like, okay? So cam 3 and slow. So fast is red. So currently right now, this is set to DHCP server. We do not want that. Unplug power, hold cam 3 and slow again. Plug in power, and fast should be white. There you go. This means it's in DHCP server, so that's what we want, okay? From there, you unplug again. Then you would do this process. I do apologize, I think I skipped ahead. Then you do this process to make sure it's on the correct IP. Okay, then from there you would hit the scan, and at that point it would be in the same IP range there. So you would do the process of making sure it's not on DHCP server, but on DHCP client. And then from there, you would check to see if the IP comes up, okay? If the IP comes up and all of them are on the same IP range and you're good to go, cameras are on the same range, RMC-2 is on the same range, this is the next process you would need to do. And this is assuming RMC-2 is on the latest firmware and all the cameras in PTR-10 on the latest firmware. Unplug power, you're going to hit cam 1 and fast for the scan process. Plug in power, hold, they're lighting up. When these three light up by themselves, click on 3 for me. If you have 1 camera, click 1. If you have 2 camera, click 2. For me, I have 3 cameras, so I click on cam 3. Okay, and then at that point, it's gonna start flashing like this. When it starts flashing like this, all you have to do, if you have 1, it's gonna flash 1. If you have 2, it's just gonna flash 2. If you have 3, it'll flash all 3. At this point, all you do, unplug power and plug it back in without pressing any buttons. And then, as you can see, it found 3 cameras again, and it's just going to do its boot cycle until it finds it. I will show that process again because I know it was a little bit more fast, but for the scanning process, let it finish doing its cycle, and then we'll make sure it's communicating. Then from there, I'll show that scan process one more time. Again, this process is long, a little tedious, but this is the only, I don't want to say it's a downside, but this is the only thing when you're introducing networking as a control process. I think on the manual mentioned this process could take about 1 minute and 30 seconds or so. Okay. So cam 1 is selected, it's on fast. Let's go ahead and move. PTR-10 is moving. Cam 2. PTC-150 is moving. And then cam 3. There you go. It was set to slow, so it wasn't moving at all. Now it's set to fast and moving. There you go. So the order it did, it's basically by the last. So 30, 36, 33, but 30 is the PTR-10, 33 is a 150, and 36 is the PTC-150T. Okay, so that's how it does it in order, is by the last digits of the IP. Okay, so let me show you that process again of scanning. So I can show you more of what I'm talking about. So to scan, again, you hold cam 1 and cam and fast. Okay, if you have 1 camera, when these 3 start flashing, depending on how many cameras you have is what you're going to correspond with. Okay, so let me show you what process I'm talking about. So hold cam 1 and fast. Okay, cameras light up. When these 3 flash by themselves, okay, here, you correspond to what you have. I have 3 cameras, so I'm going to press 3. If you have 1, you press 1. If you have 2, you press 2. So that's the process I'm talking about. When only these 3 are flashing, click on how many cameras you have, then it's going to start doing its scanning process. Okay, so again, that's what you have to do. I hope this video helps. I like to think I'm explaining good, but I could be explaining it one way and then still not understand. I apologize, but I'm hoping this video helps. This is again assuming RMC-2. All other units are on the latest firmware, and then this is again for the DHCP client, which essentially means it's going to be connecting to your router and to your own network, and your network is going to assign an IP to this RMC-2 via DHCP. Okay, so with that, again, hopefully this video helps. I will end it when this is finished scanning, and we could just show you that it's scanning again, okay? Bear with me. And then in theory too, I'll test it in this video as well. When you scan for the cameras and you unplug it and plug it back in, it should connect to those 3 cameras again. So we'll test that after this as well. Just the scanning process is what always takes the longest. Okay, you see how it's doing this again? When you do the scan process, it usually does this. When you're done and it's doing this, all you have to do, again, like I mentioned before, unplug the power, plug it back in without having to press any buttons. Oh, there you go, 3. I was a little scared there for a second, like, why isn't it picking up my 3rd camera? Again, what I'm going to show you is after you're done and you scan the camera and it gets what you want. After that, you should be able to just unplug power, plug it back in, and as long as you don't change any settings, you just plug in power and it should find those cameras again for you. But once this process, again, this is what takes the longest, is just it scanning. Cool, and all 3 are connected and move. So after that, and you do have all your cameras connected, in theory, all you should do is just unplug power if you're done for the day, plug it back in, and it should light up the camera. Yeah, so it's the same process. It's gonna do its whole cycle again, it connects, and then you should be able to use the controller from that. Yeah, so it should work. I want to add another 2 minutes for this thing to find it, but for the most part, that's how you connect RMC2 to your PTC-150, 150T, and the PTR-10 controllers, okay, or cameras. So this is specifically for the 150 and the PTR-10s, okay? How to connect the RMC2 to these as a DHCP client, which means the router is giving you your IP for everything, okay? Thank you.